Next up is the 2023 bond program. Dr. Rapp.
All right. Well, we do thank our voters for the support of our 2023 bond program, and so we're just going to provide a few updates this evening about that. It looks like it's on the last slide, so I'll let them. I don't want to go in reverse. Okay, there you go. All right, so there's our election recap. We're excited to get the wheels in motion, and am pleased to hear Mr. Colbeck talk about already the wheels in motion on the staff laptops from the 2023 bond. Remember that this is our icons, and we'll bring these forward every month as we talk about the different aspects of our 2023 bond program. We're going to start first, just reminder about our guiding principles, about how we determined what was in the year one cell. We talked about that a couple of work sessions ago. Our project categories, really that facilities assessment document, safety and security, technology, playgrounds, furniture, and fine arts. And so our first cell projects, we're going to talk first about technology, and I'm going to ask Mr. Colbeck to speak about a couple of those for us.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Rapp. This first item is our data center uninterruptible power supplies. I brought this up at last month's meeting. This would be one of our first projects. This would be for the units here at LISD as well as LHS. Those units are about 20 years old. And I think what I want to point out is obviously they're critical to the operations of the district, but I want to point out that the nature of the projects lend themselves to the definition of public works. So with these projects coming forward, what we have to do first is pick basically our engineering selection as well as our construction delivery method on that. So what we're planning on doing is bringing a recommendation forward in February for both of those, and then obviously that'll allow us to bid the projects, and then when the bids are done, we'll bring back a recommendation for the actual purchase of that gear and those services. So that would be coming in February. The second item is a project I've shared with the board several times, is our enterprise resource planning, our ERP project. As you know, we've determined the need to evaluate what we're currently doing. We have a current procurement underway at this time. We're going through that process. We're evaluating the different solutions that have been proposed. Obviously, we're using different selection criteria to look at how the products best align to what our needs are. We're certainly looking at the product capabilities. We're speaking with references, trying to do as much due diligence as possible. Ultimately, what we are planning to do is bring a recommendation for the board for that product. We're hoping that we can hit that timeline of February. We're working through the process right now. In addition to that, I also shared that in the 2023 bond, there was some staffing needs. So what I'm planning to do in February is bring a staffing plan, which would include not only the ERP component, but we're also going to need some other staffing, supplemental staff to help with deployment of devices, like at the actual process of issuing devices to staff. We're probably going to need a little bit more help, and then also looking at our iPads for students. We're going to have a plan. We have a procurement in place right now as well to compare, hiring people, outsourcing it, and which is going to be the best value for the district. We're planning on bringing that back in February as well. But ultimately, as it relates to the ERP project, our plan is to bring that consent item to the board in February. The project budget for this, which would be in the 2023 bond, is $4.25 million. And our goal is to bring that recommendation, and then obviously it's going to be a long implementation to get whatever we bring for recommendation implemented.
And then Randy's going to share just where we are on furniture for the first sale projects.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Rapp. So just a quick, can you hear me? Okay. Quick recap of our furniture plan. We keep bringing this up because it's a big undertaking. We're looking at about $25 million worth of furniture for this summer. So we mentioned before in December we had a very successful furniture fair. We actually had 3 vendors bring in a bunch of different furniture for elementary and middle schools. All elementary middle school principals that have a furniture replacement in this bond were invited to come in, touch, feel, try out all the furniture, and give their feedback. That feedback was then used. We had an actual survey for every single piece of furniture that they filled out. That feedback was then used to kind of update our furniture standards for elementary and middle school. This summer, our goal is to do classroom furniture at 16 different campuses. I think it's 8 elementary, 8 middle school. Again, these are all campuses that do not have a 20-year life cycle maintenance and repair project in this bond. The next step is a series of meetings with those individual campuses to discuss the specifics related to what they want to select for their campus. As of this evening, we've already held 10 of those meetings. Those will continue over the next couple of weeks. And our goal remains to get all the pricing, quotes from the vendors, everything, all the purchase orders on by spring break, so that we can hopefully get all the furniture in place this summer before the 24-25 school year. And then again, we will go through a very similar process for the high schools in the future once we get through this summer. So, thank you.
All right, and then, of course, the other first sale projects we know contain the 20-year life cycle maintenance and repair projects. We'll continue walks through 2024, and then there will be projects in summer of 25, and those were determined priority in the first sale, and we'll report that to the board facility committee that you all have in place as well. And so our first sale budget projection that we've been talking about over the last month basically is that project budget of $520 million. Of that is $76 million for technology and $69 million for expediting some safety and security projects. When it comes to financial analysis, we've talked about there's a lot to consider. I keep bringing this crystal ball back forward because none of us have one, but we know we have a lot of things to look at when it comes time to sell bonds. We did want to update you, a market update, and of course, John Martin's here this evening. The market has remained favorable through the holiday break. The tax-exempt interest rates continued their rally in December. The bond buyers index is at 3.26. That's the lowest it's been since August 22. John and I talked today, and we're really anticipating the true interest costs coming in at 3.5%, if not better. And the credit rating, I've updated you all about our credit ratings. Fitch ratings came in at a AA plus and a AAA level. They recognize the situation with the lack of state funding that we'll continue to talk about this evening. And the S&P rating stayed the same, AA plus with a AAA level, with a shift in our financial outlook. They did not recognize the state funding situation or all components of CE local. And of course, as I share with the board, I sat in on those calls personally myself over the break. We're excited about the student opportunity. We have students who will be traveling to the Hilltop Securities Tower, and I know that they have a lot in place that they're getting ready for our students there this coming at the end of this week, and so we'll be updating you about that. Communications is coming to document their experience as well. They're going to learn a lot about bonds and hear various presentations and get to be part of the process, and I just think this is absolutely great that we're having the opportunity to involve students in the bond sale. And then next steps for February, you've got several discussion items coming before you that we'll be discussing at the work session, and then you've also got action items coming before you in February. So we know we've got time to talk about those, but we definitely always want to put a month ahead of time what you will be seeing. And with that, that is our bond program update. We're happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions? Dr. Bonner.
Not really a question, but John, thank you for the opportunity for those kids to go down there. You know, that's pretty rarefied air for high school juniors and seniors to be interested in the bond market and want to come and do that work. Bonnie Leach, I see you smiling out there as a math teacher. What I'd like is a list of those so I can go ahead and invest in them now because they're going to be a success, and we appreciate your efforts to that.
Yes, thank you very much for including the students because in the end they're the benefactors of the bond project, so I appreciate that.